Hey everybody, it is Pete Toll, aka PT Sports 84. Just wanted to make a quick video today highlighting the latest roster update officially put out by NBA 2K for NBA 2K22. Today is Monday, January 24th, 2022. 2K added in the remaining hardship contract players that were previously not in the game. Um, It's actually, this roster update is beneficial for pretty much any offline roster maker that wants to make a realistic G League, um, roster set. So now you have a lot of the players that are on those G League teams that got called up earlier, late December, early January. Most of the guys are free agents now, so they're not on teams. But I just want to go through and kind of highlight um, some of them and just show you kind of who was added throughout the last few roster updates dating back to late December. That way I can cover everybody. So first up, we're going alphabetical order. Justin Anderson was added. Previously, he plays for the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. Um, did a decent job. Um, excuse me, in his limited stint back in the NBA. Mainly got minutes for Cleveland, the Cavaliers, as a small ball power forward / small forward. He has his official render. You have Cat Barber, who was called up to the NBA. He plays for the College Park Skyhawks in the G League. Here he has a generic render, so nothing major there. Um, but that's him. Paris Bass just came off a 10-day hardship with the Phoenix Suns. He plays for the South Bay Lakers. He has a generic render as well. Let's see. Go down. I like to go down off of these. Shaq Buchanan plays for the Memphis Hustle. Generic render here, but he was called up to the Memphis Grizzlies for a short time. Then we have Ahmad Caver. He plays, he's in the G League as well. Caver plays for the Memphis Hustle as well. Generic render for him. We have Mario Chalmers back in the NBA. He did not get any playing time with the Miami Heat, but he is now playing for the Sioux Falls Sky Force in the G League. He has a real render there. Zylan Cheatham just came off a 10-day contract with the Utah Jazz. Official render there. I believe he's going to go back to the Birmingham Squadron. That's where he has designated rights. Chris Clemens plays for the Maine Celtics. He just tore it up last game. I believe he had like 38 points. Went off for like 10 3-pointers. That's his official render there. Darren Collison, brief 10-day contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. He was already in 2K on the 2013-2014 Los Angeles Clippers, but they added him to the free agent pool with some updated ratings there. We have Jarron Cumberland, which this one's great to have in the game because Cumberland, the last name, is actually inappropriate language according to 2K, and so you couldn't officially add him previously without spacing out the C and the CU and the M, so it wasn't put together. But Cumberland had a brief stint with the Portland Trailblazers, plays for the Delaware franchise in the G League, and has been doing really well for Philadelphia's G League team. We have Javin Delaurier, generic render here. For him, but he had a short stint with the Milwaukee Bucks and is on the Wisconsin Herd G League team. Cheick Diallo just came off a 10-day with the Detroit Pistons, is allocated to the Motor City Cruise. He has his official render there. And we have Jamie Eshanique, brief 10-day with the Washington Wizards. He's also the center for the Capital City Go-Go. Generic render there. Rob Edwards, brief 10-day contract with the Oklahoma City Thunder, is allocated to the Oklahoma City Blue. Generic render there for him. Malik Ellison briefly had a 10-day with the Atlanta Hawks, did not get to play because he went into the health and safety protocols, but he is currently on the College Park Skyhawks. Generic render there for him. We have Allem Ford, who was just added today. Brief 10-day contract with the Orlando Magic. Previously, it was the Lakeland Magic. Or not previously. He is allocated to the Lakeland Magic. Then we have a couple guys here that were already in the game. Tim Frazier and Wenyen Gabriel. Both were already in the game, but they were designated as hardship players. Frazier for the Orlando Magic, and then Gabriel for the Los Angeles Clippers. Langston Galloway as well for the Milwaukee Bucks. Next up, we have Jordan Goodwin, short 10-day contract with the Washington Wizards. Currently plays for the Capital City Go-Go in the G League. Generic render there. Hassani Gravett, 10-day contract with the Orlando Magic, is a starting point guard for the Lakeland Magic. Generic render there. We have Tyler Hall here. Brief 10-day contract, did not get to play for the New York Knicks, but he is with the Westchester Knicks and is the starting shooting guard there. We have Haywood Highsmith. Was in 2K a number of years ago. Got another chance this year with the Miami Heat. Is allocated to the Delaware 86ers. Or Bluecoats, I'm sorry. Delaware Bluecoats. They changed their name a few years ago. Nate Hinton got allocated. He was already in the game. Same with Jalen Horde. Aric Holman was hardship to the Miami Heat, and he was he's actually allocated to the San Antonio Spurs, or Austin Spurs, rather. Scotty Hopson, he was in previous 2Ks. This is still a generic render. They didn't get a chance to scan him in. He was with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and also is with the Oklahoma City Blue. We have Feron Hunt, a brief 10-day contract with the New Orleans Pelicans, and he is actually with the Texas Legends, which is Dallas's G League team. We have, Daquan Jeffries also. He's with College Park now. B.J. Johnson with the Lakeland Magic. Joe Johnson was briefly on a 10-day with the Boston Celtics. He'll probably go back and retire now. That was a good way to end his career. One last bucket. Going back with the team he was originally with. Tyler Johnson had a brief 10-day with the Philadelphia 76ers. Carlik Jones did really well for Dallas and Denver. Is allocated to the Texas Legends. The G League, Jemerrio Jones was in 2Ks previously. He had a brief stint back in the NBA with the LA Lakers, and then he also is allocated to the Wisconsin Herd. Braxton Key This looks nothing like him. I don't know how they got this render out of looking at a picture of Braxton Key, but that's neither here nor there. Luckily, the appearance tab is open, so you can change him how you want to. He is allocated to the Delaware Bluecoats and played briefly for the Philadelphia 76ers. George King gets an official render. He was in 2K18. He was briefly with Dallas and had a nice season with the Agua Caliente Clippers. Brandon Knight here, he is now with the Sioux Falls Skyforce. We have some others here. Just going down the list in alphabetical order. Dakota Mathias just came off a 10-day with the Memphis Grizzlies. Mac McClung gets an official face scan here. He's with the South Bay Lakers, but actually played for the Windy City Bulls briefly. We have Cameron McGriff. He is a generic render. He briefly played with the Portland Trailblazers. He's actually with the Greensboro Swarm. We have CJ Miles was added in. CJ is going back to the G League Ignite team. Greg Monroe, brief stint. Last one was with Washington, and now he's back with the Capital City Go-Go as the kind of do-it-all backup center. Xavier Moon just came off his third 10-day hardship contract with the LA Clippers. He has a generic render. He's with the Agua Caliente Clippers. Matt Mooney, brief 10-day with the New York Knicks. He was with the Mexico Capitans, but they have ended their season as they had a shortened season based on their agreement for this year. So I don't know if he'll sign with another team or not. Jalen Morris, official render here. He is with the Austin Spurs and was called up briefly to the San Antonio Spurs. Emmanuel Mudiay, official render. He had a brief 10-day with the Sacramento Kings. Ade Murkey is with the Stockton Kings, which is the affiliate for Sacramento. He was called up briefly as well. This is a generic render for him. Malik Newman, generic render, but he was in past 2Ks. He was brought up by the Cleveland Cavaliers and is with the Cleveland Charge in the G League. We have Jaysean Paige, briefly called up by the Detroit Pistons, but is with the Maine Celtics in the G League. He has a generic render. Trayvon Palmer is with the Motor City Cruise. He was briefly called up to the Pistons as well, generic render. Let's see. Micah Potter, generic render for him. He was called up to the Detroit Pistons, but he is actually with the Sioux Falls Skyforce. Justin Robinson was already in the game, but he had a brief time with the Sacramento Kings as well as the Detroit Pistons. Olivier Sarr, a couple of 10 days with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He is the center for the Oklahoma City Blue. Jordan Shackle was added today. He had a brief 10-day, didn't fare very well with the Washington Wizards, and he's with the Capital City Go-Go currently. Trayvon Scott briefly played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, is allocated to the Cleveland Charge, generic render there. Xavier Sneed briefly had a call-up with the Memphis Grizzlies. He is actually with the Greensboro Swarm, generic render there. Nik Stauskas, official render, brief time with the Miami Heat. Originally was supposed to sign with the Toronto Raptors, but went into COVID protocols. He is actually with the the gold, which is Grand Rapids gold. Craig Schward is a generic renderer. He was briefly with the Washington Wizards. He actually plays for the Capital City Go-Go. Emmanuel Terry, brief 10-day as well. He was previously in 2K database. He is with the Stockton Kings. John Teskey, brief 10-day contract with the Memphis Grizzlies. He is a generic render and also plays for the Lakeland Magic. We have Justin Tillman, is with the College Park Skyhawks. He is a generic render. Had a brief 10-day contract with the Atlanta Hawks. And MJ Walker, brief 10-day contract with the Phoenix Suns, is actually with the Westchester Knicks. He has a generic render. Derrick Walton Jr. Has an official render. He is actually the Motor City Cruise point guard, and he was called up by the Detroit Pistons briefly on a 10-day contract. And Brandon Williams was added today. He is with the Westchester Knicks. He had a brief 10-day contract with the Portland Trailblazers before going into COVID protocols. DJ Wilson had a brief 10-day as well with the Toronto Raptors. He's with the Oklahoma City Blue. And then last but not least in the free agents is Moses Wright, who had a brief 10-day with the LA Clippers and is also allocated to the Agua Caliente Clippers. And then I believe, let's see, where is he? Well, we have Lindell Wigington here, who previously was a G League standout, was signed to a two-way contract. You've got Malcolm Hill, same thing. He took his hardship contract and did well, was converted over to a two-way contract. And then, trying to see if we're missing, Brandon Goodwin, same thing. He made good with his hardship contract and turned that into a two-way deal. So good for him. And then I think if we're missing anybody off of the list, Chris Silva is still on a hardship. He was previously in 2Ks. He's allocated to the Iowa Wolves. Looks like we are clear as far as most teams go with their hardships. We still have Brian Arcidiacono under a hardship. I believe he'll sign a full season contract once we get through the trade deadline. Same thing with Stanley Johnson here. I believe that'll happen for him as well. Mason Jones was converted over to a two-way contract from the G League. He played with South Bay previous. And then same with Admiral Schofield for the Magic. He was converted to a two-way contract, so that way he could, get more of a look by the Orlando Magic. Has done well. He's actually played in some games as well. Marquise Chris did well through his contract, was able to be moved to a standard contract, which was great to see that. The Dallas Mavericks haven't done anything with their second two-way spot yet, so be curious to see if they end up doing anything moving forward. DaVon Reed was a call-up and then did well with got his contract converted to a two-way contract. Terry Taylor, same thing earlier in the year, did well and then got converted to a two-way contract. Kiefer Sykes signed as a free agent. And then Lance Stevenson was playing really well for the Grand Rapids Gold. Has used that to get multiple, 10-day contracts and hardship contracts so far, with the inkling that he'll likely stick for the rest of the season. Cassius Stanley is signed to a standard 10-day contract. He's been tearing it up in the G League as well. So good to see him get an opportunity again. And Trevelyan Queen was previously with the Rio Grande Valley Vipers, and he worked his way onto the team and got a 2-way contract out of it. Let's see, I don't think anybody on the Spurs. Nope. The Phoenix Suns still haven't signed a second 2-way guy. I think Aaron Wiggins will eventually get converted to a regular contract. And then that pretty much wraps up. Quinndary Weatherspoon was converted to a 2-way contract, was tearing up the G League. So the Warriors were afraid they were going to lose him to somebody else, so they went ahead and signed him so nobody else could get him. Smart move there. And that's it. Like, that wraps up this video as far as the players that are added in that are new to NBA 2K based on the hardship contracts or just a 10-day in general. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, in the comment section, please let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, as well as please subscribe if you haven't already to my channel, and look for more content later this week. 2K will put out another official ratings update on Thursday. So once that's released, I will be reviewing it and then doing a written review and then of the changes, and then going through and dissecting each change from a user point of view like I am right now. So hope everybody enjoyed it. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.